Well, March has been one of the wettest on record right down the eastern seaboard. A handful of locations even broke some records. Here are some of the higher totals. Gladstone, 617 millimetres of rain for the month. Their average is 97 millimetres of rain, and that's above the record. So we've broken a record in Gladstone. Mackay was just off the record, 832 millimetres you recorded. The record's over 1,000 millimetres. Lismore, you broke a record, also over 800 millimetres of rain. Port Macquarie, not quite a record, 534 millimetres for the month. Sydney, 327, wettest March since 1975 for Sydney. Parramatta had its record March in over 100 years, but not quite a record. Dubbo, 223 millimetres, was well over 4 times the monthly average. Not quite a record for Dubbo. So we either broke the record or it was pretty close for much of Eastern Australia. Of course, as a result of this heavy rain, we've seen widespread flooding, much of it during the past week, although we did have some flood events earlier this month too along the east coast. Through southeast Queensland, severe flash flooding and river flooding developed on Thursday and continued on Friday. And we saw the highest river levels on record along the Logan River. That led to inundation of property. Some cars were swept away. There has been dozens of flood rescues as a result. Across the border, near record high river levels for the Wilsons River. Not quite though. Lismore had its highest river level since 1974. Big question is, what's ahead? We'll get to that shortly. Here are the rain totals over the past week. This is up to 9 o'clock on Thursday morning. Doesn't include the heavy rain that fell later on Thursday, but already this week we had seen well over 400 millimetres, which is the black there, along the central stretch of the Queensland coast after Category 4 tropical cyclone Debbie hit the coastline. And we do have widespread flooding through the Capricornia, and the floodwaters are receding now though for the Central Coast District. Also widespread flooding has developed in the Wide Bay District. Now, the rainfall did extend inland, but not as far west as many farmers would have hoped. In fact, early in the forecast period last week, when the cyclone was starting to turn up on our maps, it looked like that heavy rain would pass right over central Queensland into the west of the state. That didn't happen. Anywhere Longreach and to the west of Longreach didn't see any rain at all, but the Central Highlands certainly had well over 100 millimetres in many areas, and that is a drought-affected part of the state, along with the Wide Bay, which is currently also in drought. Here's the system on the satellite image. Of course, it hit the coast back on Tuesday. On Wednesday, it carved a path down through central Queensland, but we still saw severe weather even into Wednesday night through the northern part of the coastline. Then on Thursday, passing through southeast Queensland and northeast New South Wales, and finally off the coast on Thursday night. And that puts an end to this weather event in terms of the rainfall. Here's the forecast rain on Saturday. Light showers left over for New South Wales, mainly the northern half of the coast. Still a monsoon trough hovering just off the north coast, and a front will bring some showers to southeastern Australia. But most of the rain this week will be either the far northern tropics or along the east coast. The showers will actually increase on Monday for New South Wales as an upper trough moves in. Some moderate falls are likely, and we're expecting weekly totals to exceed 50 millimetres. So more of the same for the beginning of April. What we saw through March was rain nearly every day along the New South Wales coast. That's what you can expect for the first week of April. Showers and storms across the northern tropics continuing on Wednesday. This is how much over the next week. We're expecting 100 to 200 millimetres for the northern top end, including Darwin. Only light falls for eastern Queensland. Perhaps around the Gold Coast we might see 10 to 20 millimetres, but the darker green indicates 50 millimetres on the way for the New South Wales coast. But it's very coastal. It's in just a slim area there, perhaps about the 10 to 20 kilometres closest to the shoreline. As a result of that rain being coastal, we're not expecting any flooding to return over the next week.